So 3D printing and its applications to sustainable development goals in China. And so what is 3D printing? It's the process of virtually designing an object and bringing it to physical form. And how they do this is it's a technological blueprint that maps out the object being created, and it's then transferred to a building device that uses plastic or other materials to recreate the object. And it's used with the blueprint to create the object in layers. Each layer stacks on top of each other and fuses together, forming one object. And this method of creation is both cost and time effective. Studies show that 3D printers are 10 times faster and 5 times cheaper than typical manufacturing processes. And in China, 3D printing is becoming very useful. In both US and China, they're very competitive, but China has the higher percentage of the 3D printing market. Specifically the construction, healthcare, and the military very much so utilize the 3D printing. So who is using it? It's grown astronomically over the last decade. It's used in almost every type of manufacturing process nowadays. Home appliances, furniture, car parts, even space technology are industries that are utilizing this 3D printing. And so manufacturers will continue to be impacted by 3D printing because the huge savings in both money and time. And a potential job that I was personally interested in is actually 3D printing through a bakery. And so what that is there's edible things, materials that you can put into these 3D printers and still form them in a unique shape to ultimately make a cake or to make desserts. And this job requires knowledge of design and operating a 3D printer, and also just baking skills. And a typical 3D technician would make anywhere from 40 to 80K, depending on his their level of expertise. So where are they using 3D printing? It's used to create buildings and infrastructures now. And so back in 2015, town Suzhou was recognized for building the tallest 3D printed building in the world. And they also have used this technology to create housing at a much cheaper price in China, the Suzhou, China. So the SWOT analysis for why strengths of 3D printing are low cost and demands for time and less errors in production. Weaknesses, you can't build with every type of material, and sometimes the material is lower quality. Opportunities is mostly in the medical field. They may have the potential to save lives by replacing body parts or organs. And threats is internet technology is prone to hackers, and chemicals are also released in the 3D developing process and can be harmful when inhaled. So when are they using it? It was first released in the 90s, and then it's grown in popularity since then, specifically in the past 10 years. The Chinese government started supporting it in 2012, and this really pushed the mass adoption of the industry level 3D printing. And as companies found that 3D printing saved money and time, more began to utilize it for themselves. And generally speaking, the mass adoption has already happened. The only thing really holding more and more people from doing it is going to be the harmful chemicals and just a lack of knowledge about the 3D printing. And so the sustainable goals I found is initially one, no poverty. China has proven that housing can be much more affordable using 3D printing, lowering the cost by tens of thousands of dollars. People in poverty may have access to the shelter, and less manpower is needed. So that's a savings on both money and time. And goal 2 is good health and well-being. Going back to the whole 3D printing body parts and things like that, many people rely on donors every day to get an organ back in their body. And although that 3D printing has not fully developed the organs or internal parts of your body, they have made big strides in skin and bones and things like that, exterior. So it's very likely that in the future, maybe distant future, that there is 3D printing of something like a liver or something like a heart or anything internally that you may need to be donated to you. And 2 truths and a lie, 3D printing was first invented in France. It's possible to use 3D printing outside of Earth. And a patient is currently living with 3D printed heart in their body. And here are my sources. Thank you.